Iowa Speedway was something that we've talked about for quite a while, that we want to see a cup race there.
Atlanta is a crapshoot and could put a one-hit wonder in the playoffs who doesn't belong there.
All right, Kentucky! The night time is the right time!
Hey there, NASCAR fans. Get ready to rev your engines because we've got some exciting news for the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. From changes to improvements, we have got it all covered. The 2024 NASCAR Cup Series schedule is here, and it's packed with dazzling changes that promise to make next year a milestone for the sport. First up, mark your calendars for June 16, 2024, because that's when the Cup Series makes its inaugural visit to Iowa Speedway, a thrilling 0.875-mile oval. It's going to be epic because it would be the first time that NASCAR will venture to the Hawkeye State since 1953.
Obviously, it seemed like that Iowa was a little bit late addition in the sense of that you couldn't get Montreal done. So I'm curious, A, if that's accurate, and then B, are you still in pursuit of Montreal? And if you do get that done for future years, what does that do with Iowa? Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. And enjoyed the tweeting or I guess X-posting that we had going there for a little bit earlier today. But Iowa Speedway was something that we've talked about for quite a while. This is something that we've been hearing from our fans for a long time, and Iowa in particular, that we want to see a cup race there. So unfortunately had to take a bit of a hiatus over the past few years with COVID for their Xfinity Series and Truck Series, but felt like it was important for us to get back to Iowa Speedway.
Reportedly, fans will witness an inaugural night race at Iowa. The NASCAR playoffs kick off with a new look in 2024. The round of 16 now starts a week later than usual, with Atlanta Motor Speedway hosting the first race on September 8th. This exciting round also features Watkins Glen International on September 15th, followed by the iconic Bristol Motor Speedway night race on September 21st. Why the change, you ask? Well, it's all about shaking up the playoff schedule and keeping things fresh. Texas Motor Speedway now moves to the spring with an April 14th date, bringing some diversity to the first round of the playoffs. Don't you love a good mix of tracks? As we move through the playoffs, the round of 12 starts at Kansas Speedway on September 29th, followed by Talladega Superspeedway and the Charlotte Motor Speedway Road Course. The round of 8 features Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Homestead-Miami Speedway, and Martinsville Speedway, leading up to the grand finale at Phoenix Raceway on November 10th. But before we even get to the playoffs, the regular season wraps up on Labor Day weekend, September 1st, at the legendary Darlington Raceway. The Southern 500 marks the final opportunity for drivers to qualify for their championship run. After all, it's always an intense race. And speaking of changes, the 66th annual Daytona 500 will kick off the Cup schedule on February 18th. But here's the twist: Atlanta returns as the second race of the season, creating some incredible momentum right after the Daytona 500.
As you think about the spring date, Daytona 500 is our biggest event of the year, and we carry a lot of momentum in the early part of our season. And with seeing how Atlanta has played out over the past couple of years from a racing product perspective, obviously we want to see how it both started and evolved after the repave. And after seeing several races play out at Atlanta, felt like it made sense to move it into that second slot after Daytona. It was a natural fit for us, seeing that we're not returning to Auto Club next year, as we think about heading to the West Coast Swing in Vegas and Phoenix. And then introducing it to the playoffs was kind of a myriad of things. Again, the racing product and what we've seen so far, the positive fan sentiment that we've seen around, what it looks like on track. And then, we felt like it's an opportunity to introduce a little bit of variety to the schedule in the playoffs. So, introducing a drafting style track like Atlanta to the round of 16 to follow it up with Watkins Glen. And then the Bristol night race is really going to test the variability of our drivers and their skills as they think about punching their ticket to the round of 12. So something we wanted to do that was a little bit different and shake it up a bit.
Reacting to the news of the change, many fans commented on social media. This is what happens when you put someone who was never anything more than mediocre at something in charge of making high-level, important decisions about that thing. Atlanta is a crapshoot and could put a one-hit wonder in the playoffs who doesn't belong there. Back-to-back drafting tracks to start the season? And has he ever been outside in Atlanta in February? Now, remember those dirt races at Bristol? Well, they were a blast, but in 2024, Bristol returns to its concrete surface on March 17th, giving us a different kind of excitement. And here's something special for Easter Sunday, Richmond Raceway on March 31st at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Yes, it's that 0.75-mile tri-oval, and we know you can't wait to see the action. But wait, there's more. The Chicago Street Race returns for its sophomore year on July 7th, bringing Cup cars to the heart of the city. After all, the NASCAR race added $109 million to Chicago's economy, while generating an additional $23.6 million of media value. And then, 2 weeks later, we're back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Oval for the fantastic celebration of the 30th anniversary of the Brickyard 400 on July 21st. Now, don't you think something is missing from the 2024 schedule? Well, yes, it is an international race, but don't worry folks, because NASCAR is still exploring opportunities for future expansion outside the United States. Stay tuned, because the Cup Series may go international in the years to come. Don't trust our word for it? Check out what Ben Kennedy has to say about it.
And then as we think about international venues in general, we still are bullish about finding our way either north of the border, whether that be in Montreal or Toronto or another market, or south of the border down into Mexico. You know, as we've mentioned in the past, we want to bring our NASCAR Cup Series there at some point. We think it's important for us to get outside of the United States with our series in some way, shape, or form. So that's something we're going to keep our pulse on as we think about 2025 and beyond. But you know, as we've mentioned in the past, timing is always critical to a lot of these moves. We want to make sure that the market's ready for the NASCAR Cup Series, that the timing makes sense for the industry and the sport. And you know, hopefully we'll be able to move in that direction at some point.
And don't forget the special events. The Busch Light Clash at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum is back to open the NASCAR festivities in Southern California on February 4th. Plus, the NASCAR All-Star Race returns to the historic North Wilkesboro Speedway on May 19th. There you have it, folks. The 2024 NASCAR Cup Series schedule promises excitement, diversity, and some fantastic racing. Get ready for an incredible year ahead. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to like, share, and subscribe for more NASCAR updates. Until next time, this is NASCAR in and out on Essential Esports. Keep the pedal to the metal.